All right. Our ring announcer the rest of the way is Cody Gwynn, who has some announcements for everyone here in our arena. We're at the Cumberland County Youth Center in Crossville, Tennessee for Valor Fights 24. To the cage, Cody Gwynn.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the delay earlier, but we are good to go now. Before I get started, Crossville, how we doing tonight? Oh my goodness, you had to sit here and do nothing for 30 minutes and that's the best you got? How you guys doing tonight? All right, we're real quick. Let's pay some bills. Got the official Valor event shirt available tonight. We got the old school shirts available tonight for $10 and our brand new Anthem Athletic shirt available tonight for $15. Check that out at the ticket booth. Oh, look at Jason King. This is our new shirt. You know you want one. Them are nice. We also got Nick Eastman and Advocare in the house right back here. He's got all your favorite Advocare products to check out, plus Fracture Fightwear hanging out tonight. All kinds of cool gear. Be sure to hit up some of our booths here tonight, and we are ready for your next fight. Welterweight kickboxing brought to you by the Blind Zebra. Please welcome to the cage at this time, fighting out of the red corner, Gary Rollins.
Gary Rollins making his debut in this junior welterweight kickboxing bout at 142 pounds. Gary Rollins also out of the Hurricanes House of Pain camp in Williamsburg, Kentucky. Rollins at 18 years old, trained by Jimmy Haynes, who is a former pro boxer that fought Vitaly Klitschko, Ray Mercer. There's a difference in age there of fighters. And Bermain Stavern. Teammates with Skylar Carson and Brian Farrington. We just saw Brian Farrington just a second ago. Skylar Carson a little bit later on. But 18-year-old getting in the cage and kickboxing here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're exactly right to have that sort of experience in your coach.
To introduce his opponent, back to the cage and Cody Gwynn.
Now please welcome his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, David Lewis.
You're saying, Case?
Well, I was saying that, you know, to have a coach that has that sort of experience, who's been in there under the heat and the pressure to go into a striking battle with that kind of coaching, it's a great thing. Now, we see David Lewis making his way to the cage. His brother, just a few moments ago, got a big win by TKO stoppage. Now his twin brother is headed into the cage to do work on his own. Now, he is a champion here in Valor in mixed martial arts, but I believe this would be his debut kickboxing bout.
You are correct.
So this is first time for him. So, you know, it's a little bit different, but neither of these brothers are any stranger to competition. Wrestled all through high school, and as I mentioned before, Josh was wrestled there in college.
David Lightning Lewis out of North Georgia High, stand in Dalton, Georgia. He's 24 years old, trained by Nalo Lachuga, who will referee some bouts tonight. Not this one.
Yeah.
Well,
and you know, the North Georgia Higheston, they're known, you know, that's Higheston based around Gokar Chavichian and Judo Gene LaBelle. Their camp out there in Hollywood, California, the home of Ronda Rousey. Okay, one of the original, Caro Parisian, Manny Gaburin. So Nalo Lagucha, a coach for the Higheston forms, known for their leg locks and their submission grappling. They're doing some kickboxing here. They're changing up a little bit, and as you can see by Josh Lewis's performance earlier, they got the ball rolling very well.
David Lewis is put together. He's being checked right now by Thomas Brooks, who is with ISKA, and making sure that everyone is in line and ready to go. And David Lewis is in the cage. For our official fighter introductions, here is Cody Gwynn.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, your next bout will be in the welterweight kickboxing division, brought to you by the Blind Zebra. When the action begins, your referee in charge of this bout is Jason King. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner tonight. He makes his kickboxing debut. He weighed in 153 pounds. Fighting out of Williamsburg, Kentucky, and representing the Hurricane House of Pain, Gary Rollins. Standing across the cage tonight, fighting out of the blue corner tonight. He also makes his kickboxing debut. He weighed in 151 pounds. Fighting out of Dalton, Georgia, and representing North Georgia Higheston, the two-time Valor bantamweight champion, David Lightning Lewis.
All right.
Gary Rollins in the red trunks and David Lewis in the blue in this kickboxing bout at welterweight at 142 pounds. David Lewis, the Valor, the current Valor 135-pound MMA champ. This is kickboxing here, and both exchanging in the center of the cage.
Lightning Lewis discussing a pro turn in mixed martial arts, but wanted to get a little bit of extra experience in before making that turn. Very smart. And as you can see here, he's moving his head very well. Beautiful kick there.
Boy, thick thighs, and those look like heavy kicks from Lewis. A front kick sent back by Gary Rollins, the 18-year-old. And Lewis exchanges.
A lot of numbers there with the hands of Rollins. You can tell there is a difference in style between these guys. Obviously, Rollins, as you mentioned before, trained by a boxing coach. You know, those are a boxing coach is going to help you a lot with your hands, maybe not necessarily so much with putting your combinations together with your kicks.
Jimmy Haynes, very accomplished former boxer, and then down goes Gary Rollins. They're going to roll that a slip, however. David Lewis last fought in March in Chattanooga, defeating Marquise Johnson.
Which was a very beautiful fight. A lot of back and forth action before David Lewis finally landed the leg lock submission in that fight.
Is it, how big of an adjustment is it? Because Lewis is pretty grappling oriented, but now this is about the boxing with the kickboxing.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, mixed martial arts starts on the feet. He starts with striking. He's no stranger to that, and he's no stranger to competing in small gloves. So when you put on the headgear and the larger gloves, you know, you're able to open up a little bit and maybe try your strategy a little bit more.
That spinning kick to the midsection, Rollins thought it was low, but
props to Rollins for, you know, he's still in it, momentarily at least.
Final 10 seconds of this first round. 3 2-minute rounds.
Another spin kick, possibly low there. He's calling for a low shot. Jason King did not see it.
He may still be reeling from the first one that he called for. I thought that was not low, the first one. I'm not sure about that one. I was screened on that one. But he may still be reeling.
Well, it's a perfect example. If you get hit low, if the referee doesn't see it, then you better cover up. You better protect yourself because, you know, that's all it is. The referee has to see it. You got to wait for the referee to call that break. Because if you start doubling over, you're going to get TKO'd really quick.
So we'll see how Gary Rollins in the red trunks in the red corner, how he can respond. He looks like he is hurting over there in that red corner. He's sitting down. Meanwhile, David Lightning Lewis in the blue corner is standing up and looks to be in pretty good shape.
Here we go. Some of the back and forth action here. Rollins throwing a lot of shots, but doesn't seem to have the same level of power and intensity as David Lewis.
Lewis, boy, those thighs, those legs, very powerful for Lewis. He is put together.
Years of duck walks and sprints and everything it takes to be a competitive wrestler, man.
Squats, all kinds of variations of squats as well.
Undoubtedly.
All right, Jason King, our referee, looks at both corners, brings the hands together, and we're underway in round number 2. 3 2-minute rounds in kickboxing. K1 rules.
Oh, wow, a little bit of
Lewis almost went into MMA
some
on that
antics
one.
there, yeah.
He caught the kick.
Oh, wow. Head kick just missed the head of Rollins.
And now Rollins on the attack.
But again, I just don't see him turning on the strikes. He doesn't have the power that David Lewis is. The hips of David Lewis are just so good. And honestly, I believe that when a wrestler tries to turn to striking, if they can translate those hips, they can generate a tremendous amount of power, having never competed in striking before.
Rollins, I think you're right. Rollins looks like he's just throwing the punches with his hands as opposed to full body torque of the midsection and getting the shoulders into it. Just doesn't have the force.
And of course the conditioning, you know, I mean, David Lewis is a champion mixed martial arts fighter. He is a former competitive wrestler. He knows how to get in shape and be in shape. I don't know if Rollins has that. He's a young man. You know, he's young in the sport and he's young in life.
Only at 18 years old is Rollins in the red trunks, Lewis in the blue. As we had a stoppage temporarily, another spin kick attempt by Lewis.
And, David Lewis now seeming to slow down just a little bit. One thing I'd like to see is for him to set up that spinning kick with his hands a little bit better. Come out, use those hands, and then kind of mask that spinning kick, because I think Rollins has started to time it.
Yeah, you can see Lewis looks a little bit more gassed. That was
And there we
low.
go, and then out of nowhere, here goes Rollins. I think that the gas tank is just about on empty, and as I say it, here he comes.
Snuck an uppercut in there, and Lewis sends one back.
Oh,
that
nice. That one landed. That was beautiful.
To the
and
chin.
then a beautiful left hook.
Lewis in the final seconds here. Rollins on the attack, but into the cage, and that's the end of round number 2. What do you think in terms of scoring?
I got 2 rounds to nothing for Lewis.
Yeah.
I just think the effectiveness of his strikes, you can see he looks more comfortable in the cage. His presence is better. 2-0.
So David Lewis, call him Lightning, making his debut in kickboxing, but he is the Valor 135-pound MMA champ right now, and you will see him certainly in future bouts. Our first bout tonight on the main card is presented by the Blind Zebra. Here in the welterweight division in kickboxing, 3 2-minute rounds at 149 here tonight. And we've got a few more kickboxing bouts on the way. Then we will have amateur MMA in our main event, Billy Combs and Sawyer Rich. It's coming up a little bit later on tonight. First time ever for Valor Fights in Crossville, Tennessee. We're at the Cumberland County Youth Center with Casey Oxendine from Team Oxendine. I am Vince Ferrara. You can always follow Valor Fights on Twitter at Valor Fights. And then, of course, ValorFights.com for all of the upcoming events. And Rollins throws the first punches, lets his hands go a little bit. Lewis back up against the cage.
One thing I like about David Lewis, again, is he is ripping those body shots. He covers up a little bit as Rollins moves in, and as Rollins completes his combination, here come the body shots, and those add up big time. They hurt.
Oh, tight spinning kick by Lewis once again in the midsection.
Oh, that head kick landed flush right there. Beautiful.
Called for by his corner and delivered. Malo Lechuga said head kick, and Lewis delivered and connected.
And I'll say this, Rollins has had his moments. He'll come on for a little bit, and then he'll walk away. And when he walks away, here comes Lewis. Lewis chases him down and lands, uncontested shots, and those score huge.
Some body shots as Lewis was taking some time off, and Lewis let him go. Rollins was taking some time off, excuse me. And now Rollins, who really looks gassed.
Well, Vince, there are no breaks till the bell. Okay, that's you learned that in day one. If you walk away, expect the guy to chase you down and beat you down.
Is Lewis going to be okay if this goes the distance?
Oh, and I think that if this goes the distance, David Lewis has this one in the bag, in my opinion.
Right. But in terms of maybe what his expectations were.
I'm certain that he would like to finish the bout in with a knockout. Rollins is not a renowned kickboxer by any means, but again, Lewis is here to get experience and grow, and that's what he's done.
Lewis is a chin strap.
And I'm certain he's had a lot of fun.
He's gotten the full work in. This is going to go the distance. One shot landed there at the end by Rollins, but this has gone the distance, and boy, both guys with their hands on the cage.
And a testament to Rollins, tough kid. And it's difficult to score those knockouts with the headgear on. That's one reason I believe that David Lewis was probably going to the body a lot. Those are clean shots. They can be very, very effective. But I've had students that have gone into kickboxing bouts and have landed some of their hardest shots in succession and still can't get their opponent to drop because that headgear does its job. It's hard to bust up the bones around the eyes and so forth like you can whenever you're in mixed martial arts gloves without headgear.
Look at the big smile from David Lewis. He is tired.
Such a character.
And he and his brother look like they're going to get wins here tonight within just a matter of about 15 minutes. Valor Fights 24 here, and you don't forget, Saturday nights, 11 p.m. in Knoxville on Fox 43. You can watch Valor Fights. You can see later on tonight. You can see Valor Fights in past events that we have done, but every Saturday night, 11 p.m., most Saturday nights, 11 to 12, Valor Fights replays on Fox 43. Back to the cage, and our ring announcer, Cody Gwynn, with the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to your judges' scorecard for decision, where all 3 judges scored about the same, 30-27, for your winner by unanimous decision, David Lightning Lewis.